Forces. I've seen your photo around a lot of desks as I walked around, as a commander. No joke. There's a lot of people that are fans, and of course the value and the amazing entertainment that you provide, and I don't know if people in Hollywood will ever truly understand, what it's like when you're in one of the deepest, darkest places of the world and you see some really ugly things. And when you can have that second that you can just watch a great show or a great movie, and it takes you home, it takes you out of that place where you are. And it just brings you home and you forget about all the ugly things that may be going around you in that deserty place you might be living. So I always have huge praise and thanks for those who are in the entertainment business, just for the product that they provide to men and women around the world. And, we even have an American Forces Network because it's so big to put Hollywood and those type of things to the soldiers and sailors and Marines and airmen, everywhere throughout the world. And that AFN network, they take shows like Knight Rider and things like that, and they put them out there, for people to watch. So thank you, David, for just everything you do for the men and women providing entertainment all around the world.
Well, I'm very honored. I got to visit some troops in Busan in South Korea. And it was an amazing day. My show, a terrible movie I made, was shut down. So I said, where are the troops? They said, Busan. So I went to Busan. I ended up seeing a show called Train to Busan. And that's a pretty amazing show. And they were doing Jekyll and Hyde, which I did on Broadway. Yeah. And the star of the show was their biggest star, playing Jekyll and Hyde by watching my version on television. But anyway, I'm honored and happy to be here. And I've done a little bit of Armed Forces Network with the COVID-19 crisis and the pandemic. The guys in Bavaria, believe it or not, in Germany, because all those gold records on the wall are mine, and most of them are from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And I got a chance to be a part of something that's amazing. The theme of Knight Riders, one man can make a difference, and you guys and ladies, in the service really make a big difference in my life, and so I'm honored to be here.
Well, you've made a big difference too, David. One thing I wanted to tell you. So I have a coworker here. He's one of the vice presidents in the airline that I work in, and he's German, full-blooded German. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to be talking with David Hasselhoff. And first thing he says is, Germany loves that man. Everybody in Germany loves him. You're hit over there, as you know already. But, the music you provide. And then, of course, I was reading about your roots. Your roots hail from, as partially part of Germany and stuff. So, yeah. And so I always knew that the Europeans really, really, admire you, but it was fun to see, this is a 40-some-year-old man, going, oh my God, we love him over there. So it was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I get a chance. There was a big joke in a newspaper said, the borders are open. Somebody call David Hasselhoff. I thought it was so funny.
That's great.
Because, I sang on the Berlin Wall, and I ended up behind the wall before the wall came down. Yeah. And I met a couple girls, and they were freaking out. And I said, oh, do you know me as the man who talks to the car? They went, talk to a car? They thought I was crazy. They said, no, you are the man who sings of freedom.
That's right.
And I went, what? And they said, we know your song. And they could sing the first line, which was, I've been looking for freedom. And they couldn't sing the second line because they could speak very little English. They were taught Russian. Was their second language. But I took a picture with them and said, you can't go to Berlin. That's ridiculous. I mean, we're in East Berlin, but that's West Berlin. You can't go there? They said, no. So I said, well, meet me here tomorrow. I took a photograph with them. I put it in the newspaper of the Bild, which is the big newspaper in Germany. Yeah. Went back to through Checkpoint Charlie and gave it to them. And I said, here's a little piece of freedom. And they ran away.
Wow.
Right. You know, it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're a part of history, you know, with that whole thing. I was reading about it and your participation, you know, and it's amazing. I mean, you saw it live with the story you just described, the impact that's had on people. It's
Yeah,
a
the
huge
impact.
thing.
I mean, do I call you Lieutenant?
You call me, I just go by Jerry. My first name's Jerry. That's the perfect name.
You know,
Yes, sir.
Jerry, I got a call from like the Dick Clark show of Jerry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, ran into an issue. Are you guys having the same issue?
Yeah. He's frozen.
Still looks good, but he's
But
frozen.
I was going to say, he still looks even frozen. He
I know,
looks
right?
fantastic.
He does. I'm jealous.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, let me.
Amazing.
I'm
Okay.
I'm going to do something here while we have a break. I'm going onto Wi-Fi just to make sure that I don't lose
Freak
juice.
David, I
called
don't
the
know if you
Sylvester
can
Show.
hear
He
me,
said-
but you're frozen. You might have to come out and come back in again. Oh, yeah. He's frozen.
You know, it's funny. Everyone's suffering the same issues with the Zoom. I've noticed even on the news networks.
Oh.
On Good Day New York this morning, they had the senator froze,
Oh, really?
which is not a bad thing.
Okay. He's still in, but he's all right. He's coming back in.
Is Jerry frozen too, or that's just his picture?
No, he shouldn't be. Jerry, you frozen? This is
I
the
know-
first time.
I know Cliff is not frozen.
I'm
just-
good.
We could play one on TV.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I could do that.
David is here, but I guess
It wasn't
I
going.
think he's going to try and come back in.
Well, I'm glad to be on for the first time with Cliff and Carlo and Jerry.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
For me too, honey.
David
well-
got frozen. I think he's going to come back in. So hope here he comes.
All right.
But
gonna say.
he's-
I literally just shared because I haven't been on Facebook, Carlo. You know this. So
Yeah.
I went on Facebook for like one of the first times really in a while, and I'm like, I'm live on Animal House Radio, you know, with David Hasselhoff. Check it out. And then and I was like, oh, and he's
there
back.
he goes. All right.
Hey, we were saying, I don't know if you heard us, but we said even frozen, David, you looked fantastic.
You look fantastic.
I know, right?
Thank you. Even frozen.
Even frozen.
That's probably a compliment you'd never heard before.
No, that's I've been frozen before. I've frozen in East Germany, but I'll tell you. But they called me
Oh,
on
my
the phone and they asked me to sing, and I said only if I can sing on the Berlin Wall. Never thought it would come true. It came true, and
Oh, wow.
they called me back, and they got the two chancellors, Helmut Kohl and Honecker, to agree, and I went into a crane above 1 million people. So it's kind of a highlight of my professional career.
You know
Oh,
what?
wow.
The coolest thing about you is that I loved you growing up, and now my sons, one's 14, the other one's 9, and they also love you because of the SpongeBob movie.
I have SpongeBob right over here. I mean, I wish I could. Maybe I could.
I don't know if my kid, like, I think my daughter knows who you are. My
Oh, he
youngest
knows.
don't know, but they recognize, you know, if I said David Hasselhoff from the SpongeBob movie, that's where they know you from. Mike, you have no idea who this man is.
The black leather jacket. Hello.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're gonna know pretty soon because I'm about to do something very big, and I'm going to be on as a DJ, and I'm going to be on posters and billboards all over the world in September. I can't really talk about it because my whole house is full of cardboard and plastic because we're shooting here tomorrow. But
Nice.
let me see if I can show you. I can show you the Big Dave. This is from
No way!
Oh.
Oh,
That's 7.5. No, 13 feet long,
That's awesome.
750 pounds, and it's a complete replica of me.
Wow.
That's
Oh, wow.
that is fantastic.
And they said, I said, hey guys, what are you gonna do with Big Dave over there? They said, do you want it? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So now it's in my living room.
Oh, my God.
That is incredible.
Even the dummy looks good frozen.
You know, it's amazing. It has every possible flaw on there. It's like it's so weird. It's kind of strange, you know. I talk to Big Dave when I get lonely at night.
David, let me ask you, you know, I read a thing that said that you set a Guinness World Record as the most watched man on television. Like that's
Yeah,
a Guinness World Record. And you know, here you are about to be on billboards all over. What is it that makes people like you so much? What is that thing that you have that
That's
others
not even
don't?
a question.
Charisma.
You know, my father, this is what's left of my father, his wedding ring that he gave to my mother. My father, when I got a show called The Young and the Restless, I called my dad. I said, Dad, I got to change my name. Either it's going to be like David Michaels or you know, Aaron Hasselhoff or something, because I have to change my name. And he said, you know, Hasselhoff, you should be proud of that. So I said, you know what? I'm proud of that name because it was such a stupid name, Hasselhoff, that I made it famous. And in 1993, I brought the Guinness Book of World Records into my father. And I said, Dad, look on page whatever, like 57. And there was a picture of me as the most watched man in television history on television. And the name
Wow.
was Hasselhoff.
Wow.
And it was, you know, I mean, I'm walking down the streets in South Africa with my dad, and somebody says, hello, Mr. Hasselhoff. And my father said, did you ever think we'd be walking down the streets of South Africa and someone would say the name Hasselhoff? I said, no, you know. So
It's an amazing story.
I think it's in a way, it's just, you know, I'm still my dad, and I get my dad's humor, and my dad's, you know, I grew up in the theater, which was good, you know. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, which was really good because, you know, you don't know race, creed, color in the theater. You don't care. You don't care.
Right.
You know,
Right.
a person's not gay, not black, not white. Who cares? They're just another member of the cast. And my first show that I ever did was Peter Pan. And
Oh, wow.
the theme of that show is I won't grow up, and I haven't grown up.
You know what, David? You know what? Like Jerry said, I can't thank you enough for coming on with us. And you're an icon, no matter how you slice it. And besides all our servicemen and women who enjoyed you over the years, and our frontline heroes, who that's why we started doing the video interviews, because we wanted to give them something. Everybody's stuck home. And I really tell people, just get off of the news because it's so depressing. It really is. But, you know, I mean, you got a lot of things going on, even though we're all quarantined, David. What are you doing how are you handling the crisis?
You know, I called my sister the other day, and it was her birthday, and she said, I don't watch the news anymore, and because you can get really addicted to the news, you know.
Oh yeah.
I remember I was watching CNN, and they named a helicopter after me in Afghanistan, called it a Hawk.
Oh my God.
So I came up with Black Hawk Down. and Anderson Cooper goes, that even shows that the name Hasselhoff is still popular. And I went, Anderson Cooper said the name. You know, I try I try to get away from the news.
Yeah.
And to communicate with people like you guys, and restore relationships with family, because when you're in this business, as you know, you miss weddings, you miss funerals, you miss everything. And you miss people growing up. You know, my kids, they kind of grew up. I was always away in concert or away. And so, you know, I now spend more time with my family and more time communicating with people. Say, how are you, Kelsey? And are you really? I'm Uncle David. And I'm
Yeah.
finally getting to know the family that I missed, and I think that's really, really,
Important.
Yeah.
And this
It is.
COVID-19 it's a terrible thing because even one life. My
Yeah.
attorney was the sweetest lady. She saw me in 9 to 5. I was doing 9 to 5 in the West End, which is like the Broadway of the UK, and it was before COVID-19 hit. We called her, and she lost her mother and her father within 4 days.
Wow.
I mean, how can that possibly happen? And when it hit home, it's like when it hits home, then you realize that it's a deadly disease, and so we all have to take it seriously. And I think it's best that we just kind of humor each other and rally around each other and talk to each other.
Yes.
Because, there's if you stay involved, if you stay at home and you close up, forget it. You want to empty that. There's a bucket. There's a saying called "there's a bucket," and then you want to empty the bucket before it gets too full.
Oh,
As
yeah.
it gets too full, you're going to take life seriously. So.
David, with you reconnecting with your family, which was so great, because I know as when you're in this business, you get pulled away and it's hard. Is it going to be that much harder once things open up now that you like sort of mended fences and rebonded? And once, hopefully when this thing blows over soon and you go back to work, and is it going to be that much harder now that you?
I don't really know. I really don't know what it's going to be like. I just know that, when I was doing 9 to 5, I spent, about 2,000 pounds on getting a photograph, a T-shirt, a poster, a program, sent it out to everybody in my family that I knew, because I said, we need to get together more often, not just at a funeral, because
Right.
we all got together for my dad's funeral and it was our memorial, and it was.
Yeah.
I said, wait a second. You're Danny? My God, you're like taller than me. Wow, what happened? Life moves really fast. And so I think it's really important that when this is over, that we don't forget, because we will forget, and we will forget how blessed we are. We're so blessed. I mean, how blessed are we to be able to communicate and have a job and make money and still be able to do what we love, and that's talk to each other. And I get to learn how to Zoom.
This is my first time Zooming, by the way. So
Oh, good.
I'm honored to be on with you.
Thank you.
I'm still an amateur with it. I was
too.
learning the ropes the other day. I'm like, wait, there's all these buttons. What do they do? And the person who was hosting the thing was like, don't touch them. I was like, okay, I won't touch. I
Well,
want to touch that thing.
as soon as I went off, I went, Haley! I screamed out, fix it! And she came up here and did a whole, I'm still a novice at all that. So
Yeah.
David,
You're right.
let me ask you, David, you said you grew up in the theater, and I think, we spoke to Joan Van Ark about a month ago.
Wow.
And having a theater background has got to be the best training. If you could do theater, you can do anything. And I think you did, before you hit TV, you did soap operas, and that's got to be an uphill challenge, because that's every day.
yeah, that was the hardest work ever. I remember I was telling the story the other day. Sammy Davis Jr. came to the set, and he would watch my show, and he knew who I was, and he said, hey, Snapper. My character was Snapper. My dad called me the Night Snapper. Night Rider. He was just so freaking funny. Anyway, Sammy Davis became a friend of mine, and he said, Snapper, you wear the hat of success well. And I said, well, thank you. And he said, don't mess with a hat. It can be taken away. And I always remember that. And he said one of his greatest regrets was they never got a chance to sing with your son. And he was talking to my mom. And it's an amazing world. And I'm watching. There's a tribute to Sinatra on the.
Wow.
So much there that I didn't know, and so much because I've met him, and you kind of, you don't really know that person because you really don't know that person. But
Right.
with me, you know me. I'm David. I'm not the Knight Rider. I'm not the Baywatch guy. I'm not the SpongeBob guy. I'm still David. I mean, the Hoff. Well, I didn't even create the Hoff. The Hoff was created by some girls in Australia. And
Wow.
so
That's
now
funny.
now I'm the Hoff.
Does your family treat you like a star, or they treat you like just part of the family?
Yeah, my dad used to, my dad used to carry cards that said Knight Rider's dad.
Oh.
Because he would say, "I'm Joe Hasselhoff," and they go, "Are you related to David Hasselhoff?" Yeah, I'm his dad. And so he ended up Knight Rider's dad. And
That's so funny.
my mother, I had 4 sisters, would say, "Stop it, Joe. Stop it." I got 5 kids, So the rest of the family, they treat me pretty normally. And they come to my shows, they come to my concerts, they come to me when I'm on Broadway. And, I'm proud of Broadway. I'm proud of the West End. I'm very proud of singing on the Berlin Wall. And, the best is yet to come. I got some great news today, and you'll see. You'll see in September.
I'm
It's
looking forward to it.
Knight Rider the movie is finally in the works.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Cool.
Part of that reason is because of me, because I never gave up. And that's
Right.
one thing that I could teach anybody is one man can make a difference is the theme of Knight Rider, and you can make a difference. You can make a difference in someone's life just by smiling. Just
True.
by
Oh, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
weird, I mean, someone honks their horn at me in Calabasas, and they get upset. I just go by and I say, "Hey, have a nice day," and they look at me and they go, "That's David Hasselhoff." Just honk their horn at David Hasselhoff, and they're going to tell that story to 10 other people that I was
Right.
smiling and happy instead of being, aggressive and returning it. Just let it go.
Yeah, no drama. I hear you. David, I got to tell you, I go back to Knight Rider days. I'm a child of the 80s and I'm proud of it. And I'm still stuck there. I wish though that decade would come back, but unfortunately it's not. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed the series, and it's shows like that I'm watching now. Instead of the news, I'm watching the Dean Martin roast and laughing my ass off because they'll never duplicate that. But I think I read this over 20 years ago. Knight Rider had ended, and it was right before Baywatch, and you were in like sort of a transitional period. And I thought this was like one of the most bravest things, that you took everything you had and you invested in Baywatch, and it was like a gamble, and thank God it paid off. But I thought that was the most bravest thing I ever seen an actor do.
Well, it's just life, It's like right now, I was talking to somebody because I just sold a series just about an hour ago, and I said the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter is aligned with Mars, and I really believe in the universe. I really do.
Absolutely.
I believe that things around you come to you, and it's all about timing, and it's all about hanging in, and if you want your dream to come true, you got to work for it. And I've been working a long time. And
Yes.
when Baywatch came around, that was a no-brainer because the German said, "Does it have a car?" I said, no, it's no car. "Are you in it?" I said, "Yes. Yes, I'm in it." "No, but there's no car." I said, "No, there's not a car, but it's the same morals of Knight Rider, okay? I just run down the beach in a bathing suit." Okay. Let's see. They huddled together. They said, "No car." I said, "No, but you're in it." I said, "Yes." "Okay, we buy it." And that was the beginning.
That's funny.
Because we sold it overseas, went back to LA, and I went around and like the dog and pony show to all the advertisers and sold the show. And we raised about 800,000. It cost $1.2 million to make the episode. And that's how, believe it or not, slow motion came into play, because we didn't know how to fill 4 minutes. So we said, "That girl looks good in slow motion. Run that in slow motion." Wait a second. maybe you can run me in slow motion. Maybe we can do the titles. So everything became slow motion. And it was only because we had no money. And
Wow.
so those kind of stories, you know, like the Frank Sinatra story, it's an amazing story about,
Necessity is the mother of invention.
it is, it really is. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, Carlo, can I ask David a quick question here?
Jerry,
Sure.
stop it, Jerry. Of course
Come
you
on,
can.
Jerry.
So,
Where,
you know,
where are you guys, by the way?
We're in
I'm in
Jersey,
Las Vegas, Nevada. For me.
Oh, lucky for you.
and us
We're
three
in
are in New
Jersey
Jersey.
Shore.
Oh yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
in Vegas too. No, we're in Jersey.
Yeah. So, David, you know, when you read things about stars, there's so many things that people say, and you never know what's true. And so, I wanted to ask you. I read this one thing that said on May 18th, 2017, in I guess it's pronounced Funner, California.
Yeah.
It said they introduced its first mayor, David Hasselhoff. Are you a mayor?
I was the mayor of Funner, California, because the Indians owned the land and they owned the casino. So they were able to change the name of the town to Funner, California. And they made me the mayor. And honest to God, one day I'm driving down the freeway down to San Diego, which is about 2 hours from here. And I go, ah! And there's a gigantic billboard going, hello, I'm the mayor of Funner, California.
That's so funny.
A bird on my shoulder. And I was kind of like the draw to that area. And it worked for a couple years. And I was the mayor of Funner, California. So
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's- I
David,
mean,
what you don't know is that they asked Clint Eastwood first, and you were their second choice.
uh-oh.
you know, I met Clint Eastwood, who actually knew who I was, and he goes, "Hey, Knight Rider." I went, Clint Eastwood knows who I am. And he goes, "Nice tie," because
Wow.
it was a black tie affair, and I had on a purple tie, you know, with glitter on it because I was, you
Oh,
know,
cool.
Hollywood. He goes, "Nice tie." You know? Like when I met Muhammad Ali goes, he whispers in my ear, he goes, "Hey, Knight Rider, you're pretty, but not as pretty as me." I said, "Are you kidding me? Muhammad Ali knows who I am." I mean, that's
Amazing,
I'm
right?
still that. Yeah, I'm doing a series about that, about one man can make a difference, because so many different celebrities, they were kids and they watched Knight Rider growing up. And from celebrities to Soweto to, you know, the townships in South Africa, they watch me, and I utilize that in a positive way, because it gets me in the door, gets me jogging with President Clinton. You know, jogging with President Clinton, he goes, "Ever think Baywatch will be as big as it is?" I said, "I never thought the president of the United States would ever say the word Baywatch." Oh God.
You know, David, Knight Rider and Baywatch, two totally different shows, and both were so well received, and they're shown worldwide. What made America, specifically Knight Rider, because that's where I started with you. What do you think made America fall in love with that? And you know what the funny part about that is that I've noticed in the 80s, there's great shows on TV now, but it looks like in the 80s they had a lot more fun making them.
Yeah. Well, you
Part
know,
of it's got to be that theme song. It's got
Theme
some.
song.
A friend of mine has that as their ringtone, and
I
every
do
time
too.
I love when their phone rings. I would like, hang out with them. Their phone would ring, and I'm like, "That's
Yeah.
it. That's the ringtone."
I had that ringtone too, you know, and I was in, you know, I was driving poorly, and I had to go to a class for driving, and most of the guys next to me were criminals, and I had that ringtone on my phone, and they were talking about a-hole celebrities who get everything for free, and all of a sudden it goes dun 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 dun. And I said, "Yeah, my name's Michael Knight, David Astor. I'm one of those guys." And but anyway, you know, I think that to be honest, what really made the show was William Daniels, the car. William Daniels was an actor, or still is an actor. He's about 92 years old. He was John Quincy Adams on Broadway. He was Mr. Feeney
On Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. He was in St. Elsewhere.
Yes.
He was
yes.
Dr. Craig, amazing actor. And the relationship between Michael and the car was something that worked. And the reason it worked is because in my day, we watched Rifleman, and it was about the cowboy and the horse, you know, my friend Flicka, and hi-yo Silver, away, you know. And so I thought, well, you know, now it's a car, so maybe I should pet the car, like, you know, hey, come on, buddy, let's go. You know, like he's my favorite, he's my best friend, because Kit was everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
Kit was the perfect parent, and Michael was angry and full of love and full of emotion, and Kit was full of logic and saying, calm down, you know, it's cool. And
Yeah.
and I was in Guardians of the Galaxy too, and I asked the director, James Gunn, why did you put me in? Why am I Christopher Pratt's hero? And why do you have he unfolds a picture and says, I think this guy's my father. And he said, because when I was 8 years old, I watched Knight Rider, and it affected my life. And wow, you cannot believe
That's
how many
awesome.
stories I have about that, about people from all over the world come to me and they tell me how it affected their life. And they want to tell me their story, from Soweto to Zimbabwe to like Slumdog Millionaire to India to Pakistan. It's unbelievable. And even if I go down to the grocery mart, the guy goes, can I tell you my Knight Rider story? I said, I'm looking for the avocados. Midnight, I'm shopping at midnight. Don't say a word. But I have to tell you my story. I said, do you know where the avocados are? He goes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
I'll show you the avocados. Tell me your story. So he tells me the story. We put licorice on my bicycle, you know, like the little red scanner.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of stories, a lot of heartwarming stories, and a
Right.
lot of amazing, you know, children have come to me over the years, and I'm glad they're still coming from SpongeBob.
I know.
You
That's
know,
what you could have said at the driving class. Like, why are you here? Well, Kit didn't help me out with the driving, so I didn't have a choice.
I think
My-
Kit has his own. Kit's got his own GPS, and I have my own as well.
Oh, there you go. That was
David,
there was the mix-up.
I got an interesting fact for you that I found out. The two shows, Knight Rider and the Dukes of Hazzard, both cars got the most fan mail on both shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, I got to meet the stars of Dukes of Hazzard later on in life, and became really good friends with them. And their crew was synonymous, kind of like when we were shooting. They were shooting on Monday, we were shooting on Tuesday, and they had an accident, and a lot of them got hurt really badly. They had their car, they're called the tow, the what's it called? Like they tow your car. I can't remember the name of the car, but it's a truck, and they tow you, and you speak. I never did a scene with Kit. You know that? I mean, I never did a scene with Kit. It was always whoever picked up the radio at the time, and they put in William Daniels' voice later. And
Oh, wow.
I met him at the Christmas party. I said, hi, I'm David Hasselhoff. I play Michael Knight. He goes, hi, I'm William Daniels. I play Kit. I said, yeah. He says, I think we have a hit. I said, yeah, I think we do. We toasted each other. But yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard was a pretty amazing show at that time.
David, did you ever buy into the whole, heartthrob thing, or were you more humble back in the day? Because I mean, guys like you were on all the teen magazines back in the 80s. Did you ever buy into the whole heartthrob thing?
No, I had a couple kids and I was married, but I was I was single for most of Knight Rider, and it was a lot of fun.
that is a very, very clean and succinct way to put it. That was
What I can remember, it was a lot of fun, and the back lot of Universal was amazing. It was the Psycho House, the Spartacus, the Leave It to Beaver House, and so we had to make sure that we had fun in every one of those locations, and we did. what I can remember.
The Kit was a great car performance wise, but it was horrible to make out in because the seats didn't go all the way down.
Yeah, I know.
And you got Kit listening in.
Yeah. Kid messed up more than one relationship with Michael and a girl. You know.
If you think about it, Kit was the original Big Brother.
You know what? He really was. He was really and he still is. I mean, the show that I'm going to be doing is really kind of like that. I'm going to park the Kit car and I'm just going to wait for someone to walk by it. And you cannot believe the reactions I get, especially if I get out of the car.
Yeah.
All over the world. It's so weird. I'll go to a Thai restaurant and go, "You're my mentor. You're my mentor." And I'm going, "I'm your mentor? Where are you from?" "I'm from Thailand." And I said, "Oh, well, you got any good Thai food?" It's like so weird. It's weird, but it's also amazing and a great gift that God gave me that I got the part. I knew it when I read the script. Everybody else said, "Oh, it's a stupid show about a talking car." I said, no, this is it. This is the ticket. Oh my God. It was like glowing in my hands. I knew it. I knew it. And
It was amazing. And think about it. Kit was the original smartphone. He was the iPod. He was an iPad.
The
He was everything. He
escapism.
was the camera. He was everything. And
the funny
we
part
didn't
about it,
even have yet.
all that stuff that Kit's done, like drive itself, park itself, talk to you, scanner, blueprints, has come true.
He's the original Tesla.
Weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing it's just to hear all of your experiences and everything that you've been through, but you're not speaking of it in a way that it's, look at all of the stuff, me. It's, you can hear how genuinely thankful and grateful you are. It's like, to you, it's all these opportunities that you were lucky enough to have.
Yeah.
And grateful for. And that's so refreshing to hear. And the other thing is when I've seen a lot of interviews, "Oh, did you ever think that this would go this way?" And most of the responses, you can never know. You never know when it's going to be. You can create and hope. And like you just said, you had the script and you're like, no, you had that gut feeling. And to have that and to take up on that opportunity and then to be able to reflect back on everything in the way that you do, it's so refreshing to hear that. And I love hearing all the stories. Carlo had called me because there were a couple people that normally are on the show couldn't make it. And he goes, "Hey, would you help?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "So what's going on with the show?" And he can vouch for this. He goes, "Yeah, the first show I'm having David Hasselhoff." And I said, "Who? You got yes, I will be on there. Yes." I was very excited. Just because I used to watch the show when I was a kid. And just that, the name and the humor and the SpongeBob movie, like you said, like it was, I'm David Hasselhoff. Like it's in a way it's parroting and cartooning what you've done, but any celebrity who's able to do that, Justin Timberlake has done it, like where you kind of almost poke fun at yourself. To have that kind of self-realization and to go with it and be as happy and go lucky and humble about as you, that's what I enjoyed about your presentation, at the very least in that movie. And everything else, it's always a pleasure to watch you.
It's
hear
funny
you
you
sing.
would say that line because they say, "What was one of the hardest lines you ever had to say?" I said, "I had to say, 'I'm David Hasselhoff' in the SpongeBob movie." And I didn't know how to say it. I said, "Well, you say it like you're Superman. I'm David Hasselhoff." I said, "Oh, perfect. I'm David Hasselhoff." And that's how I did. And I was driving down the road, honest to God, about 2 weeks ago, and this girl was walking by, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I had to turn around. The gate wouldn't open, so I had to say, "Oh, I got to go by that girl again." I went by the girl, and she goes, "Excuse me, were you in the SpongeBob movie?" And I said, "Yes, I played David Hasselhoff." And she laughed. She goes, I know it was your David Hasselhoff, but wow, that's so cool." I said, "I have the statue in my house." And anyway, it's an honor to be in this business. And anybody who says it isn't, forget it, man. I mean, look at how many people come out of retirement and come back. You know, they all come back because they miss it. You know.
Yeah.
I have
It's
a
like,
question from
Performing
Dan
is
Lee,
fun.
one of our listeners. He
Yeah.
wants to know, how was it like when you shot with Kit and Carr and Goliath episodes?
Well, ask him if he knows what CAR stands for.
Do you know what Carr stands for, Dan Lee? If you could answer, because he's overseas, so let's see.
I know Kit, but I never knew Carr. That's a good one.
Well, Carr was the nemesis of Kit, and Carr was the voice that they used at Disneyland for the Haunted Mansion. Remember the voice?
Oh,
And the
yeah.
car was like, I'm the night activated roving robot. And so you had Kit, which was the Night Industry 2000
Right.
against the night activated roving robot. And it was like Kit versus Carr. And it was, and then my dad, I played two characters.
Garth.
In Garth, I played my evil twin. So I played both characters. And one of my lines from Garth was, you know, Michael Knight is a living, breathing insult to my existence. And I said, Dad, I'm playing two parts in this show, and it's 2 hours. Garth meets Michael, and my dad says, yeah, I saw it. Garth is a much better actor than you.
You know what's funny about that, David? The only difference between you two was the mustache. It was basically the same character, just a mustache.
I had a fake earring on too. I put the earring on just like with glue. Oh,
But you just answered me. He goes, was he the bad Kit?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was the bad kid. And, to this day, the favorite episode is Kit versus Carr. There's a channel you can watch them on. And I'm going to be doing a podcast coming up soon with them. It's called the Charge Channel. It's on the Stir Network, STIRR. And you can do that, and you can see all the old movies, all the old Dean Martin roasts, which I love.
Yeah.
Which you mentioned. And you can see all the old Knight Riders, all the old Magnums. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Selleck is still going, you know? It's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him too.
He's incredible.
David, your acting chops are amazing. And you've been doing this for as long. And I love the fact that you don't even show no signs of slowing down. But then you started singing, and you went all over the world. And did you have a secret passion for that? How did you morph into the singing and the performing?
You know, I've always wanted to go to Broadway, so I left Baywatch like an idiot. I left Waikiki Beach with a huge paychecks and all these babes to do Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway. I mean, my God, Broadway is really hard, and it's terrifying. It's difficult. But I got into singing because I was unemployed. I was at home. I had no job. Knight Rider was canceled, and suddenly I got a call to have lunch with a girl, and the girl had lunch with me, and I said, I'm going through my Ernest Hemingway period. I can't play tennis all day, and I can't drink, and I'm depressed. They said, well, go just see Nikki. She's won an award. Where's she from? Germany. Renbahn Express magazine sent her over, and I said, okay. So I saw her, and she goes, you know, your album Night Rocker is #1 in my country. And I said, bing, where's your country? And she went, let me show you. And she showed me on the map a tiny little place called Austria. I said, great, where's Austria? And she said, it's the size of Rhode Island. I went, bling. So I called up on it, true story. Hi, it's David Schwartz. I handle David Hasselhoff. And I have an idea. If they don't come to see him to sing, will they come and see the car? Okay, bling. Hey, Jan, my manager. I just called some guy, and I think I got it booked in Germany or Austria. And she goes, and he's going to call us back. 2 days later, Jan calls and says, can you put a show together in 2 weeks in Austria and get 2 Knight Rider cars? I said, yes. And I said, I'll call you back. I called my dad. Dad, I need 2 Knight Rider cars. Find them. How much you want to spend? I don't know, $7,000 a piece. Found 2 cars, drove them down the freeway illegally, shipped them over. And those gold records on the wall are because I saw the opportunity. And luck is being prepared for opportunity when it presents itself. And
Yeah.
I didn't make that up, but that's true. I got
That
lucky,
is true.
and I saw the opportunity, and I just went for it. And
Yeah.
to this day, I'm making a new album now. You know.
Oh, wow.
One of my last albums was called "I Did That's Life" because I heard it on the radio, and I said, "That's me, baby. I've been up and down and over and out, and I know one
Haven't
thing."
we
you
all?
know?
Yeah.
And that I did That's Life in concert. The Germans kind of went, "Huh? Why is he doing that?" Huh? Huh?
Where's the car?
But I didn't care. I did it for myself. You know.
Right. Right.
I'm in a position now where I just do things that I believe in.
Yeah.
And,
Dave, I don't know if it aired yet, but I saw something online, and it looked really interesting. It was called Battle of the 80s Supercars.
yeah.
Now, has that aired, or is that something that's going to be coming up? Or
That did air. That led to a lot of other things. It was Eric Estrada from Chips, and the Face. What's his name from A-Team?
Dirk Benedict. Yeah.
So it became kind of the battle of the '80s, and it was one of those things where it was a kind of a downtime, and nothing was happening. I couldn't get an agent. I couldn't get a job, and I said, "Oh, I'll take it." And so it's led to a lot of other things, including Knight Rider the movie, and lots of good stuff's happening, all because it's kind of like, I'm sure Jerry will probably tell you the same thing. You just do what's in front of you. If somebody's life's on the line, you help them. If so, and if there's an opportunity in front of you, take it. Take it. Just get in the game. Get in the game.
Yes.
If you get in the game, you're going to hit a home run. You might go to bat 1,000,000 times and strike out, but 1,000,001, you're going to hit it out.
Right.
And when you hit it out, they're going to all remember the time you hit it out. The time
Right.
I hit it out was Knight Rider.
Absolutely.
Hey, David, when you did Knight Rider and Baywatch, that was a very clear character, a guy with, good morals, and right is always better than wrong. You just played this, all American apple pie kind of guy in both those series. But I got to tell you, one of my favorite, I think, performances that you did, and I love those, of course. But when you went way out of that character and you played Adam Sandler's boss in a movie Click, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, just a mean, nasty boss, just so different than we were used to seeing you. Did you enjoy getting into that different character and doing something really different?
It was funny because my mom was in the hospital and she was like, she wasn't doing well. And I'd go there and I hold her hand and go, well, I got to go to work. And I'd go there and try to be funny. And then I'd come back and see my mom in a coma on a breathing tube. And it was it was nobody understands that you've got to click and turn it on. And Adam Sandler was great. He says, I want 10% of all the crazy bastard bosses that you play from now on.
Yeah.
I had a blast playing that role. I really did. It was, because what people don't remember, what people forget is that you're an actor first. I was born to be an actor. If you're born to play baseball, play baseball. If you can play the guitar when you're a little kid, play the guitar.
Right.
Do what you're born with. Do what God has given you. And I was fortunate enough to know that when I was young, that I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to be on Broadway. And I made it happen. I was 48 years old when I did Jekyll and Hyde, and I walked out on that stage and I said, "Wow, I never thought I'd be 48." But I'm 48 and I'm doing Jekyll and Hyde. I'm starring in it. And I said, right on. And it took me all that time to get there, but I got there. You just never give up. And it takes hard work.
Jerry, let me ask you, how important it is, being that you served 30 plus years, how much of a morale booster is shows like Knight Rider and stuff like that when you're deployed like that? Does that make a big difference in the the whole mentality of the soldier? It, helps them forget that, the bottom could drop out at any minute.
Yeah, Carlo, when you look at what the men and women in the armed forces do, they're all over the world. And sometimes, with me, I had 24 or so different moves. Sometimes you're in great places and then sometimes you're not. And then certainly when our nation's in conflict and we're asking a tremendous amount of our men and women, they're in tough places in the world. And it's not just the location, it's the circumstances and the environment around them. It's what you see and what you deal with in the hours you work and the stress that's put on you when you're in those environments. And I can tell you, when you have that hour that you can just step away and go, you know what, I'm going to watch a good old rerun of Baywatch. It takes you out of that place. It takes you, into a happier place, a more comfortable place, a place where you can, forget what's happening around you, in those moments. And that's why, you find that, programs like the Armed Forces Network, there's a reason they exist. It's because there's a real craving for men and women around the world to watch entertainment. It's just it's the out. And, it's not just movies, I remember sitting in Kabul, Afghanistan, and we've got mortar rounds coming in our camp, but I'm watching NASCAR on AFN. I want to see a good race, and even though there's mortars and things like that, for that hour or two that you're able to watch this entertainment, it really is, it's therapeutic. I think it's not just, nice. I think it's needed. I think, people who are in those environments, if you don't have a little bit of an out, that's when people get pushed over the edge. And once again, that's why I have, tremendous thanks for what the entertainment industry does in all the different venues, because I've watched the difference that they make in people's lives when they're abroad. And we greatly appreciate, the hard work that they do to provide that service to us.
It makes me feel good knowing that we are able to entertain you guys. And that's why people are like, why you do it? You don't get paid. I go, I get paid. My reward is seeing that I hear stories from back home saying how I touched their homes, their hearts, their children's. We got messages back and forth. They see their favorite actor growing up. So being a part of this show and helping us entertain our troops at home and here, it just warms my heart.
How long has the Armed Forces Network been around?
It's been a long, long time. In fact, I remember, I'm trying to think in my youngest deployments, when I was a youngster, but it's been many, many years ago, and they're a worldwide network. When I was the commander of the U.S. forces in Japan, we had a giant AFN headquarters right there in Tokyo.
Yes.
And so I would go do spots with them, for different things, which was fun. A crazy general trying to be an actor for 30 seconds, putting statements out for things and doing stuff like that. But they're a global operation. They do tremendous amounts. They're in a tough position, because they've got to find entertainment that's willing to put their show or their series on AFN. And then you got to mix it with the environments. You're doing a show, but it's in the middle of potentially a war. So what do you put on that network? For these people to watch. And I think they do a fantastic job. And I'm a big fan of AFN, and I've been a customer and watched their stuff for many, many years.
Well, all I can say is I'm a big fan of AFN too. And when I got this, came across my desk about 2 days ago, I said, yes, I don't care.
Thank you.
He said, it's around the world
Thank you,
and
David.
social media. I said, yes, and so what I'd like to say is that please do get more of this, because I really enjoy talking to the stories and talking to people like you and to find out, that little old me means something to someone and that I can, the theme of Knight Rider, like I said, it's one man can make a difference. And, please don't hesitate to call Judy Katz, my press agent, and book me again, because I love I really would love, I got on Facebook and I had no idea what I was doing. I was thinking, is this the Knight Rider? I said, where are you from? I'm from Korea. I said, oh yeah. Then I very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah. I said, where are you from? I'm from India. Am I speaking to the Knight Rider? And I was like, oh my God. And then my daughters called me and they said, Dad, you're like stupid on Facebook. You're on too long. And then I got a call the next day from Good Morning America saying, David Ossoff is the king of Facebook because he was on 24 minutes. He broke the code. I went, ha, ha, ha. So I called my girls And I said, I guess I broke the code. But I loved talking to those people. That's what my podcast is going to be about how I was able to influence their lives, but what's it like over there? I mean, really, what's it like? And I mean, my biggest story, they said, where do you get recognized? What was the weirdest story? I said, it was in Sweden. The guy was driving me and he goes, "You're my mentor." And I said, "I'm your mentor. You don't have a Swedish accent. Where are you from?" He goes, "Afghanistan."
Ah.
He said, "Did you watch me with like the bullets coming in?" Yes, bullets, bombs, everything. Yes, and the Knight Rider and the kit car. And he's driving, and I'm going, this is surreal. Nobody would believe this, you know?
Did he help you find the avocados?
That's a true story as well.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
I get a million of them. That's the problem. So
And
book me
David,
again.
David, I know we went over time with you, but somebody like you for me, this is a dream come true as a big fan since I was a kid. High school, the 80s was my decade. Miami Vice, Knight Rider, you named the A-Team. I'd like to do something with you, maybe closer to the holidays for the troops. And then Jerry, can we set something up with him like we did with Willie Robertson, where he can communicate with some soldiers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's got a lot of fans out there, and
Yeah,
if
I like
you want
that.
to do something like that, please let me know.
I was
can
supposed to
help
go to
you out.
Afghanistan, but they wouldn't let me in because it was too dangerous, and then that really broke my heart. But if there's a chance for me to just jump on an airplane and get over to any place, I'm there. And please contact my press agent, because she knows. When I visited the troops in Busan in South Korea, man, it was an emotional moment.
Oh yeah. Thank you for doing that. That means a lot. And one of the things I think that everybody appreciates about you, David, is that, and I hope you'll remain like that forever, is that you're positive, you're energetic, you can look at yourself, which a lot of people can't do. You can look at yourself and take you for who you are and laugh about it and be humble about it. And it's really been an honor to have your shows air all over the world, and so many men and women in uniform to have had the opportunity to watch them.
Well, the best
Really
is yet to come, and always remember that we're the lucky ones, man. We're the lucky ones.
David, I want you to consider yourself a friend of the show. Anytime you need us, I'll reach out, and if you need anything, we're here for you. Like I said, I apologize we ran along, but can you do me one favor before you go, sir?
Sure.
Would you do a station ID for us? Basically, you're going to introduce yourself in your normal David Hasselhoff flair and say, introduce yourself and say, you're listening to Animal House Radio.
Okay. I'm David Hasselhoff, and you're listening to Animal House Radio. Remember, one man can make a difference. Listen, you might make a difference. Animal House Radio, David Hasselhoff. You are listening to Animal House Radio, and I'm David Hasselhoff, the Hoff. And you're not.
David, thank you so much. God bless.
That's fantastic.
Continued success, whatever you need. I thank you so much. God bless, and I thank you for doing this. We had so much fun, and we'll be in touch closer to the holidays.
I'll send you guys some
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
It just
awesome.
melted my heart more.
Oh, how much you want for that? How much you want for
You know
that?
what? You know what? Honest to God, the true story. Down the road, there's a Target. My daughter comes in and says, "Dad, we're selling your T-shirts there." I said, "They are? How they can't do that?" And she said, "They're Knight Rider." I said, "Well, they get to do Knight Rider." I don't get it.
David, I want to make sure, we
So
got to keep you
bought
earning
this
money.
and I ripped them off, and it's been my biggest seller.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
So
David,
anyway, I'll send whatever you want to whomever you want. Just let Judy know.
I want to get one for each of us on the show, and especially for Jerry because he's a big fan, and I want to pay for them.
Yeah. No. One thing I've been blessed with, and that's money. So I'm okay. Anyway,
Thank you.
we're blessed and lucky, and all I can say is thank you very much, and I
Thank
had
you.
a blast.
Thank you, David
Much
Hasselhoff.
success.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Let me know. I will come. I will come.
Thank
Okay?
you. We believe you. Thank you.
All right. God bless.
Take care.
How do I turn this off?
If you move the mouse in the bottom right, it'll say there's a leave button.
yeah,
You got to
the
click
leave
that
button.
and then the pop
I'm
up.
leaving. No, Hoff has left the house.
Thank you, David. God bless.
Wow.
That's amazing. I tell you what, Jerry, I want to thank you so much. You know me, I can never stop thanking you for all you did for this country. It would take me
Oh,
years.
no. Well, Carl, I appreciate the opportunity to, it's very kind of you to invite me on some of these to do this. That was really fun. I mean, that was a
I
blast.
want to
man.
know if he's playing the Knight Rider, and I didn't get to ask him, but I don't know if he can talk about the
he's got his
details.
hand in it somewhere.
He's
hopefully.
either got to be directing, writing, producing something, but
He'll
it
be
would
the
be
star.
really
You know
cool
it.
to see him as Knight Rider again.
I
mean,
I was
know
reading up on him, and there's a thing that says that right now, 33 years later, that show is still playing around the world.
Wow.
That it just hasn't died.
You know what's
And what's
funny,
funny
Jerry?
is-
Some of those shows are more popular now than when they first aired. Like Leave It to Beaver is like in
Right.
like 100 and something different countries around the world.
Yeah,
Well,
Jerry
people who-
Mathers, man. He was
And
the
people
man.
who
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know it, with this movie coming out, it's gonna rekindle. People go like, "Oh, this was
Oh,
great," and then they're gonna realize, "Oh, it was a show," and then they're gonna start. It's gonna come back. Watch, it'll
He's
come
gonna
back.
get
and
a
if
whole
it's
new
not on Netflix
generation.
already.
I
It
know,
will.
I know Carlo don't like bringing back movies, but I think the best part about movies coming back is that we get to watch it again with our children.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
get to relive our childhood.
As long as they do it
and
justice.
Well,
It's
I
the
watched
same
sure
thing.
he will.
It's the same thing with music from the 80s. When you go to a concert now with, say, Foreigner, Def Leppard, there's people in that audience that are like 15 years old, and they know the music just as well as we did, and we came from that era. So it's definitely a show like Knight Rider is definitely going to cross generations.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Jerry, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
In about a half hour, 8:30, if you want to come back on, we got Eric Roberts.
Really?
Yeah.
Carl,
So
how are you lining everybody up like this?
I
You're
work
asking
hard for what
Carlo?
I do. I work
This is-
hard.
This is Carlo Bellario. You have no idea. You don't ask him how he gets his people. He can get whoever he wants.
My favorite episode of Leave It to Beaver is when he invested in a stock called Jet Electro, and then his father invested in something else and made him money because that stock that he did I really didn't watch that growing up, even though I watched it later on. But
Here's the thing with Knight Rider, and here's why I'm kind of curious how well Knight Rider as a movie is good. Because back in the 80s, the tech that was in that car, like he was saying, like that wasn't around in the 80s. Like this was sci-fi. Now it's not science fiction. It's like, and here's a Tesla kit.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's a self-driving, self-navigating, speaking car. So it's got Siri on it. Like it's all that we already have it. So I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with, if they're going to keep it
it's
real
basically
true.
the fantasy became the reality.
I'm kind of curious
It's
if they're going to
amazing.
keep it with like as if it's still fantasy and kind of the movie is going to be dated back in that time, or what they're going to do to make it fit now. They did it with Iron Man, where they took the concept of the comic, and Iron Man, even in the comics, evolved with the times. They kind of reinvented, kept the origin, but made small tweaks to whatever war was going on at the time because it was military originated. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with Knight Rider to make it fit, but maybe still give the
and
car
I'm not
something
big
that
on
doesn't
reboots
exist.
either. With the TV, I figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But some of them have
I
worked.
agree.
The Hawaii Five-0 reboot worked. The Magnum PI is doing well. But I mean,
think if they keep it true to the original idea and the original concept,
yeah.
rather than try and make too many changes. One of the movie I'm looking forward to, I saw the original Masters of the Universe movie, and
Right.
I looked into the history,
He-Man.
the whole origin of He-Man. The whole thing was it was a half an hour commercial for the toy. The toy came out and they wanted to market the toy. They created the cartoon to market the toy. That's the truth behind that. It wasn't the other way around. When the movie came out and you watch the movie with Dolph Lundgren, like none of that, there's relation to it.
Right.
They're remaking a new Masters of the Universe movie.
It just
So
goes to
I'm-
show you that they got to bring everything back from the 80s because that's how
That's
good
because-
it was.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's what I was saying. Like, there's no original. Like, they're like, oh, what was good? What was popular? Let's try and do that, and then we get to judge and go, you guys messed up. That's not how
But
that
see,
looks.
but the new generation don't know that it's messed up.
Yeah, but the parents who
They
really
look at it
do
with
know,
fresh eyes.
they correct the kids. The kids are like, oh, this was good. This isn't nothing. You need to see the original, and then we have to re-educate them.
Yeah.
It would be like me listening to music. I remember the song "Killing Me Softly" that came up by LaBouche, and I loved it. And my mother would be
Roberta Flack.
original, was
Yeah,
not.
Roberta
And she's
Flack,
like, that's not the real. And I'm like, no, Ma, this is real. This is the original. She goes, no, it's not. So she plays me hers. And I was
Yep.
like, oh my God.
Well, the Walk Like an Egyptian. Who
Right.
did Walk Like an Egyptian? What was the name of the band?
The Bangles.
Thanks.
Wrong. The original was the Pupini Sisters, decades
Oh.
earlier.
Well, I know.
The-
I'm
it was
going
either
by
the
my
Andrews
frame of
Sisters or
reference.
Well, that's the thing. The Bangles did it, and that's the most popular. But it came out
Wow.
decades earlier, where either the Pupini Sisters or the Andrews Sisters. But back in those times, when it was the Dean Martins, the Pupini Sisters, the Andrews Sisters, Bing Crosby.
That sounds almost
They were doing all
perverted.
the
The
songs.
Papini sisters.
Yeah, but they were doing. That's the thing is like now you like this is my song, and back then everyone was doing everybody's song. Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, they were all doing. They were just singing, and everyone was okay with singing. How do you
Not
sing
anymore.
this song? Yeah, not
Right.
anymore.
You know
There
what's funny? My son one time, he was listening to Green Day, and there was something going on, you know, and it shows you how this transcends. And he was like, I said something, and he's like, "Well, Dad, this is our generation of music." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, man? I listened to Green Day, you know, when I was a young dude. Dookie was the album
Yep.
that was just really
Oh,
hot
yeah,
at the
yeah.
time."
That was
yeah.
the blue. Yep.
Yeah, but
That was
you know,
the
these
Wolf
kids don't realize that this stuff that they're getting the revamp, you know, of the 80s and the 90s to a degree,
Right.
and they think
right.
it's new, you know, and it's like, no, man, this is my kids, they all listen to my son. All he knows is Journey, Foreigner, you know, all the 80s rock, man. That's what he listens to.
He's
I
a
mean,
good
that's
man, just like his
All
dad.
he listens to.
He's a
all
good man,
classic
just like
rock.
his father. That's right.
No, it's nuts. And I tell you what, you guys hit a home run tonight with your show. This was really cool to get a guy like him with so much energy, and he was willing and very knowledgeable. I mean, he's just remembering every little detail about the journey that he
Yeah.
was on.
You know what the best part about? I mean, speaking to him was
He was so
awesome.
humble.
But you know what the best part? He's humble. That's
Yeah.
right,
He is.
Gisela. And he wasn't in a rush. He was having
No.
fun. He was, you know,
No.
he wasn't like, you know, okay, I gotta go. He was like, he was hanging, and I like that. You don't see that most of the time you do, but once in a while you get those people that they want to stick to that time. But you know, sometimes we get told, oh, you got 15 minutes, 45 minutes later, the guest is still on our show. So we must be
Yeah.
doing something right. Not me, we. So
There's so much to talk about with him. I mean, who's got a resume like him? He's been the mayor of a city, for God's sake.
That's
You know,
Right.
how
that you had.
it's like, come on. He's got everything going.
he wants, you know, I like the fact that he's like not slowing down too, because some
No.
people
I do
just, you
too.
know, and he
It's
doesn't, you know
kinda-
what else I like about him? It doesn't bother him. Usually people get annoyed when they get, you know, when you do that one thing and that's what you're known for. He'll still, you know,
But
it's
he
funny
has
stories.
more one things. Like he has Knight Rider and he has Baywatch.
Right.
Someone's gonna know
Like
him
Columbo
from a
and
specific
one
thing.
more.
Poor man can't even buy avocados.
Right.
But not just that, like it was motivational and inspirational. Like someone like me, like I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm 38, I'm gonna be 40 soon, like, and I'm still working at and making like we had our thing we were working on with the show, and then
Mhm.
COVID hit, and we're not giving up. But like
Right.
to hear him, and you know, and I always look to that, you know, Walt Disney didn't get his start until he was this age, and J.K.
Mhm.
Rowling with Harry Potter, and you see all these different, and it's later in life, so that's motivational. But just to hear it from the Hoff's mouth, just to hear him say, you know, one man can make a difference. Don't give up. You work hard at like just, and he's living proof, and he's preaching what he's lived. It's inspirational for someone to look at and hear. And it's like, yeah, I really
Absolutely.
am doing the right thing, and to not quit on your dream.
Absolutely.
I'm
You know
gonna
what's
put,
interesting
stuff
was
up at
his
the table.
father giving him that piece of advice. I never knew that till he said it, that, you know, he was looking at what name to use, and he was like, what's wrong with Hasselhoff? You know, and now that name,
It's a household
everybody
name.
knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean,
If there's
what
ever a guy
brilliant
that
and smart
branded
move
his
to
name
do.
right, it was David Hasselhoff.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
He
and I
has
go-
the statue. That's
Gisela,
funny.
Jerry, I'm going to email you the link if you want to come in at 8:30 to speak
Yeah,
to.
I'll see if I can, Carlo. I have a dinner engagement, and I'm not sure what time it will end. If I don't jump in, it's just because I couldn't make it.
Oh,
But,
no worry. I'll send you the
I
link
love
anyway.
the offers, man. I really appreciate you let me,
No, you're-
be a
I-
part
I-
of this, because it's really fun.
It's my
Carlo
way of
loves you.
giving back.
You're a
Yeah, you're
staple
like
now.
if you want to adopt me, I'll send you over the papers. So
hey, Carlo's show was the first one I was ever on, and it's been
no,
the
you
best one
betrayed
I've
me a
been
couple
on.
times and went on you know who show. No.
Yeah,
It's the
well,
first one.
This I said though, this was the first one,
Right.
and this is still the one I've had the most fun with.
Carl,
I
you
appreciate-
wouldn't believe the amount of feedback I'm getting because I put a post out there on LinkedIn about the reunion of the Iron Eagle cast.
Oh, that
wow.
was
That whole
fun.
thing.
Was that a lot of
Yeah,
fun or what?
And
though?
you know, I put it out there that this is going to happen. You know, and I took your link that you gave me and said, hey, go to the link and watch the show and all that. But even though after the show has aired, I mean, people are emailing me with, you know, just all kinds of stuff about, you know, watching that show and what Iron Eagle meant to them. And it's pretty cool, man. But I just wanted you to know, you know, your show's having an impact out there. You know, people.
Well, that's all I want to do, Jerry. I want
Yeah.
it to be a Calgon moment for civilians, military, everybody. You know.
Yeah,
Makes
one
me
dude
feel
sent
good.
me a note. He goes, something Iron Eagle, and he's like, that's it. You just lost your refinery. Because that's a line that he says in the movie
Right. Yes.
when they don't get his dad out to the fight line. So he's like, that's it. You just lost your refinery. But people were pulling out all kinds of quotes and stuff. So
It's
you know,
amazing how
you're-
movies like that generate that. When you start quoting lines from a movie, then you know that somebody did right by making that movie.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
But
true.
as always, you know, I love that you hang in there. You're like the you're a host. You're like a special host all the time. I want you to consider yourself part of the show when you
Open door.
can. Obviously, when you can. Yeah, he knows that.
Open door. I was waiting for
But,
you to say it with David Hasselhoff, and I was like, I know Paul's not here, so someone's gonna have to do it. Just say it, and you never said it. I was like,
I never, you know, I started breaking away from that, but
You know why? Because we're not in the studio. When we're in the studio together, you always just say we have an open door policy. and
Yeah.
we used to
are you
Yeah.
two in the same house, by the way?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just two different.
What
ones.
happens in the garage stays in the
Stays in the
garage.
Well,
garage.
he has the man cave part, and I have the female cave part.
Yeah, she has like the
Oh.
nail salon and the hair salon,
Yes,
and
I
I'm
have
over
a
here
cute
in the, you
little-
know.
I have a cute little nail salon here, and there's Steve
Oh.
Keller.
and a,
Yeah.
and, a,
Say hi,
and a
Steve.
customer.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
could do his nails and everything. I make crafts. I do everything.
But Jerry, as always, and I'm gonna follow up with Judy, and we'll get us some pictures and some shirts.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Carlo. That was
Thank you.
That's
that was really fun. It was like not even work, right? It's just like that was fun.
That's my goal, Jerry. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was fun.
Cliff, are
I
you
hope all
in?
your viewers really enjoyed it as well because
Me too.
getting a guy like him on there who's seen and done so much and is so open about it. You could have asked him anything. He didn't
Yeah.
care.
See, those are the best kind of guests. Yeah. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Cliff, are you
Okay,
in
my
at
friends,
30?
I have to punch to make my engagement, but
All
hey,
right.
man,
Great
thank you.
meeting you.
All right,
Thank
Jerry,
you.
be
You
good.
too. You too.
Hey, let me
And,
know when you want to
I'll
do
talk with you
another.
guys soon.
Let me know when you want to do another national security scoop,
Yeah, I sure will.
because I'm
We've
sure
kind
you-
of been, I think people are more focused on the election, that there hasn't been that much crazy stuff in the world. But
yeah.
I'll keep my eyes open. And when it's the right time, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you got it. All right,
Okay, guys. Take
Thanks,
it easy.
Jerry.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Giselle, are you in on the next one?
This with Keller.
No, okay.
Huh?
He's going home and looking at the back of his eyelids because he's got to work another 12 hours tomorrow.
I gotta go in at 3. I gotta be up at 2.
Yeah,
I gotta
Cliff,
go.
you're in, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end this. I want to thank both of you for coming on, and good to
You're
see
welcome.
you back in the fold. Now, hopefully, you get the bug again and start coming on more.
Cliff and
would
I,
love
we
to.
need a bug.
All right, Cliff, did I send you the other link yet?
Is
Eric
it, the it
Roberts?
was the same link. I
Oh, it's
think
two
just
different
gonna-
ones I sent you.
Is it? Because I think I just clicked on the bottom one.
Carlo's always got a
No,
bug in his
no,
eye.
this is the same one.
All right,
Same-
let me send you the other one right now. All right, guys, thanks so much. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Special thanks to David Hasselhoff and Judy Katz for making this possible. And we'll see you all in about 17 minutes right here on Animal House Radio.